Hey, what's going on, y'all? We back with it with another episode of I'm Standing On It podcast. I got my regulars back on here with us. Got my boy Legend at the top.
Yo,
Y'all know who it is, man. What's up with that boy 80 West?
What's happening with it?
Yep, man. We got Miss Steph here in the building, man. She's back again. So, y'all, we go the topic for the night, man. We want to discuss, man, who can use the N word? Is it just for us? Can other people use it? And if they can't use it, please tell me why. And if they can use it, please tell me why. Is there certain situations where they can use it and it's acceptable? Or no, man, across the board, that shit ain't acceptable. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna start. I'm actually gonna start with the person who ain't black. Let's go ahead and start with Stephanie. Stephanie,
I feel like it's just a word.
have you used the word? Do you have any friends that's not black that use the word? Like, what's your opinion on it?
I use the word, and I have a lot of friends that we kind of talk the same. I think it's just a word. I feel like the definition somebody puts on it is more telling than using the word. I feel like it's racist to associate any specific word to any specific, group of people. That's racist to me. It's just a word. You know what I mean? And if you know where we come from, then you know where that word even came from.
So we shouldn't use the word. Is what you're saying?
I use it, but let's just go, just say our opinion, and then get in. We'll go into
Do you say it out in public, or you just say it behind closed doors?
What you see is what you
Or
get. So I mean, it's not like I use it often, but I do use it.
do you use it when you rapping songs, or do you
I
say
don't
it in
rap.
conversation? All right. Now, we got the homegirl Shalon in the building, man. I see you, Shalon. Our boy PT from Sacramento on here watching. So we got Larry, New York man, boy legend. So I know you from New York. Things can be a little bit different on who uses the word there. Maybe there's certain cultures that kind of affiliate with maybe black people more, so they feel that they can use the word. So what's your views on that?
well, like back home, like in New York, politics with blacks and Puerto Ricans and Dominicans and everybody else that we got out there is like it's different than the politics than y'all got out in Cali. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no divide between races out there. So out there it's like Puerto Ricans use it as much as black people. You know what I'm saying? Like and then Dominicans don't never use it because most of the Dominicans out in New York don't even speak English. So if you hear them say that shit, they being disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? So you'll never hear them use it with the soft A, as they say. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna hear it with the hard ER. You know what I mean? So that's what it is, man. But who can and who can't? I think it depends on the individual and who using it because like Steph, like I could be around Steph, like we could be kicking it. Steph could say this shit, I ain't gonna get offended. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna feel no type of way, but I could be at the bar. Like one time, me and Tony we was at a bar, and this white cat, you know what I'm saying? Me and him, we get to talking and shit. Some dude I just met, and he in his speech, he just said something about
You
nigga.
don't like
Yo,
McLovin, and then he says that shit.
he used the word right, and I'm like, when I heard it, I forgot everything else he just said. All I heard was that word. I was like, what the fuck? Like, okay, I'm gonna let this shit slide, whatever. Then he said it again. Then it really caught my attention, So I ain't know this cat, so I wasn't really digging it. So the third time he used it, I had to check him on it or whatever. But that's a different story. But like I said, like if it's somebody that I'm cool with, I feel a little bit more comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Whether they singing along to a rap song or whatever, and or if it's you might bring somebody around Ben's and that's your peoples and they might say it and they're not black, whether they Mexican or white, because it's not just Mexicans, it's Puerto Ricans, it's Mexicans, it's a lot of people, man. Like I guess if you grow up a certain type of way, if they grew up a certain type of way, they grew up around certain type of people and in a certain type of environment, they automatically gonna pick up on that habit. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be around a bunch of motherfuckers that say it, and they're gonna start saying it, and people gonna give them a pass to say it, and that's where we at.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, we got my boy 80, man. I know he out there in Texas, so it might be a little bit different out there. 80, what's your opinion on this, man?
Man, I think it got everything to do with where you from, man. Like, people rock differently in different areas. You know what I'm saying? So, like, where we grew up from, like, people be thinking California ain't the same politics, but it's like, you got to remember, California is Northern California and there's Southern California. And the Northern California, like, people like Mexicans or even Polynesians or, you know, the Filipino, like, everybody say nigga. It ain't nobody who don't say it. It's more of a culturally accepted. It's more culturally accepted now than it probably was back in the day. But certain areas, the diversity, the people are kind of forced together as opposed to being separated. So like in Southern California, I ain't never really heard no Southern California like Mexicans say nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't really hear them use that out there in Southern California. But Northern California, everybody kind of maneuver the same way. So they hear it. The boy Mexican OT just did an interview that kind of sparked this conversation to where he was being interviewed by some citizens and they was asking him, you know what I'm saying, you know, basically, you know, how does he feel about being able to say, or people giving him backlash about using the word? And what he said was some real shit. Like, this is who I grew up with. You know what I'm saying? This was the environment that I grew up in. So this is what everybody said where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think the thing that sparked a little bit of controversy, though, his whole thing was like, what is anybody going to do about it? Ain't nobody going to do nothing about it. So I'm going to continue to do what I do because this where I'm from. This is culturally accepted. And I think that has a lot to do with it. I think it depends on who you fuck with, how you fuck with certain people, where you're from. I know in the South, things they get ignited a little bit quicker just because of the you know, naturally the history that come along with it being the South. So, you know what I mean? It probably sting a little different if they hear somebody outside the culture using it. But shit, I mean, to be honest with you, I hear more of other races saying it than I do black people. Like no bullshit. Like, nah, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Like, it's like coming from like either the Bay or Northern Cali or Sacramento. Like, you hear it so much from everybody. I got Mexican partners that saying more than, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I think it got a lot to do with where you from. I done had the Asian partners, you know what I'm saying? Everybody I know say it. It's more of a terms of endearment at this point. It's not, unless it's used directly at you in a derogatory manner, which everybody knows how that's gonna come out. I think the world is culturally just kind of accepted it, and as a majority, there's a lot of people that still take offense to it. Obviously, with the history of what the word meant to what it is now, is two different things. Because when you say my nigga, that's like my brother, that's like my people, that's like my guy, that's my, you know what I'm saying? And if where you from, that's their lingo, then that's how it's going. That's, you know, it's going to be accepted accordingly. Now, if you're from somewhere where, you know, people don't really mix like that, and you're not used to hearing it out of other cultures' mouth, other races' mouths, then yeah, it'll probably be a shocker. I know one time I was at the grocery store, and the young white boy was talking to somebody else, and he was like, "Yeah, man, we had to get on that nigga, man." But I look, he caught me off guard with it, but it was just, it was. I think it has so much to do with, I know he wasn't really like that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if you know a motherfucker really like that, like somebody that's really from, you know, from the same similar areas, you know how somebody get down when somebody really like that. He wasn't like that, and so when I heard him say it, it was like it threw me off. And I looked, and I'm like, hold on. And he seen me look, and then he kind of, you know, went back to what he was on, because I just wanted to make sure I heard him correctly. Because I was like, he threw me off. I'm looking, I'm like, okay, which one of y'all? You know what I mean? I'm looking like, one of y'all, you know, which one of y'all said that? And he got that vibe, but it just threw me off. It wasn't nothing for me. He wasn't coming at nobody in a derogatory manner. I think it's just, we're in a different time now. We're in a different era now. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of it just has to do with how you was raised, who you grew up around. We got partners of different races that that been rocking with us since we was kids.
Mhm.
So we don't look at him like nothing else. He said, "That's my nigga. That's my nigga. If you with me, you my nigga, no matter what color you is, because you ain't got no business being with me if you're not my nigga." Like that's the mindset from where we come from. Really, what it's about. Now I can't speak for everybody, but for the most part, that shit is just a word, bro. I mean, unless you, because you know when it's being used in a derogatory manner, you know if they gonna get at you, and somebody said in that mannerism, then yeah, obviously it was used in a hurtful manner. But 90% of the time, bro, that shit is just like, bro, you know what I mean? Like, and
Does it make a difference? Do y'all feel any kind of way if you hear somebody use it that's not black and don't have no black friends and no affiliation with black people, period, and they use that word?
see, I think that's what we talking about. Like, you know who's somebody who's been around that and somebody who's not like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like, you get that sense. Like, you know, we just use, you know, if a dude from Rockland is talking about some, yeah, my nigga this and my nigga that, you gonna look like, bro, come on, you ain't even, you know what I mean? You ain't even on that. But if it's a white boy from Del Paso Heights, you know, more than likely, you know, he grew up around that shit and he really fucking with it like that. So, you know what I mean? It just depends on where you at, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yo, let me interject right fast. Like I said, son, like I don't care where he been through or none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't care where he come from. I don't care if he from the turf, from the sandbox, whatever the fuck. If, like I said, like when I was at the bar, right, and that white dude, when he used the word, I looked at him like, and I didn't want to get into the details, but what I told him was, I was like, yo, son, look, listen, we not cool like that. You don't know me like that. Don't use that word around me. You see what I'm saying? So I don't really care where nigga from. If you're not black, don't use the word around me, whether it was with the soft A or the hard ER. You know what I'm saying? Like, real shit. So hold on. So hold on. But that's what I'm saying is I'm not comfortable around strangers saying that shit. Like you don't know me like that. I got people that's white, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Panamanian, Haitian, whatever. Like I don't look at everybody like, yo, you shouldn't be, you know what I'm saying? You should or shouldn't be saying that word. But if I know you, if we gotta have some kind of report at least for you to be saying. You can't just be some cool ass white kid that's on the hood who been to prison and grew up around a bunch of niggas and expect you to come around me and be like, yo, what's up, my nigga? I don't care where you from. You see what I'm saying? That's the point I'm trying to make.
So if you got a partner that you grew up with from the sandbox, you know he 100. Y'all done broke bread together. Y'all done wrote it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about what a real partner. He wasn't your partner, and he Mexican, and he just to say he's Hispanic, and y'all rapping on a regular basis. You fuck with dude. He beat to the crib. Y'all, you know, you really rock with dude, not just somebody you know. And in conversation, he giving it to you how y'all give it on a regular basis. And he be like, yeah, my nigga, whoop, whoop, whoop. You gonna take offense to that for real?
No, I ain't saying. That's why I said we got to have a report. Yeah. We got to have some kind of report.
You're saying like if you don't know him, right?
No, I'm talking about if we was at the cave, right? We was at the back cave a few nights ago, a few weeks ago, whatever, a couple weeks ago, and it was a non-black person, and I could tell, like, I got a vibe from son, like he was from the turf. I personally don't know him. I met him that night. You see what I'm saying? I met him through somebody else, and I could see, like, when me and son had a conversation, I could tell it's just like you said. I know son from the sandbox, like, you know what I'm saying? But he didn't use that word, or at least I didn't hear him use it. But I can't tell you how I would have felt, whether I would have felt offended or not, because even though you might be from the turf, I don't know you like that. That's just me personally. This is just me personally. But like you said, and like I explained earlier, if me and you have a report, if me and this white dude or this Mexican, whatever like that, if we cool like that, then and okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, use it all you want and whatever, because I got non-black people that I'm cool with that are not from the turf, and I'm okay with them saying that shit. You know, you ain't gotta be from the turf. All we gotta do is we gotta have some kind of report. You can't just be some random ass nigga up in the bar talking about this, down the third, and we just chopping it up, and you just feel like I'm this cool ass black dude, and you feel like I'm so cool, that you could just use the word around me. You can't do that shit.
Yeah.
Even if I feel a vibe like, yo, this nigga from the hood. Nah, I don't care if you from the hood. You not my man's like that. Like, I don't know you like that. And how you know me, how you feel comfortable enough around me that you just gonna use the word like that. Can't do that. You know what I'm saying? But that's just me though. You know what I'm saying? Like if we have a report, or like I said, I'm you were my peoples. If my people gonna vouch for you, then okay. You know what I'm saying? My people, if they gonna co-sign you, then I'm like, I will fuck it. If son co-sign it, then it's okay. I'm not really gonna stress it. I prefer not to. I probably prefer not to. But since my man said you good, you good. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about it.
So with you, it's about how well you know the individual. If it makes it okay for them to be able to use the term, just in your level of comfortability.
Yeah, for me personally, if I don't know you, I don't want to hear that shit come out of your mouth if you're not black. But it's like, but the reality is, I also understand like there's really nothing that no one can really do about it, because people always say like when we start taking accountability for using the word, you know what I'm saying? That once we stop, then they say people think, yo, if you stop using it in your raps, then non-black people ain't gonna sing this shit along. Or we stop saying it to each other, then other people ain't gonna start. Everybody else gonna stop saying it to each other. But we not gonna stop saying this shit. And I highly doubt that it's so socially accepted, like you said, like
It is.
everybody using this shit. Even if all black people stop using the N-word right now, there's still gonna be other races that's gonna say the shit anyway. So there's
but this the part that everybody be leaving out too. You gotta think about it. When we as a culture make something hit, everybody follow that shit. You know what I'm saying? And then let's call a spade a spade. So when we, just like the whole hip hop culture as a whole, we made that shit popular, bro. When we made that shit popular, motherfuckers are selling out in Germany, motherfuckers are selling out in Europe, motherfuckers are selling out all over the globe, in Japan and China and shit. You know what I mean? Like, so when we do something and it catches on, it becomes popular. We're trendsetters by nature. When we do something, it's cool, it's iconic. So that's kind of like anything else that we've done that we see people with after we've created a wave. You know what I mean? I mean, just think about it. Think about all the waves that we create, that motherfuckers jump on board with it. And I think this is just one of the things that started off as a derogatory statement to it becoming so socially accepted that every culture is starting to use it. Now, I think it still boils back down to how you was raised. I got white friends that be like, man, I would never just use it because I feel that it's disrespectful. Well, they come from a different era and a different time, right?
Yeah.
It's never been socially accepted to call another man a bitch, but these young niggas be running around here calling each other bitch and this and that and other. So I'm really not a fan of that. I'm old school as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Nigga call me a bitch, it's gonna be an issue. So I always make sure that like having sons and shit, I tell them like that shit ain't cool to me. You know what I mean? Like, so I can see how somebody can take nigga and feel the same way. You know what I mean? Especially if you're from like the older generation or whatnot as well. You know what I'm saying? Because they had to fight for that term not to be something that got used against us. And we took it and fashionalized it and made that shit, you know, a term of endearment. And then now everybody caught on and uses it with the same terms. You know what I mean? So I think, I don't know, I guess it got a lot to do with just where you from.
But where do you think that word comes from?
The word, we know what the word comes from. It comes as a racial word.
No, but like what
the
I mean
word,
is,
the word is
somebody
a racial.
didn't just magically make up the word. Like, do you know, like, literally the terms where they came up with the word?
It means ignorant.
No, because we all come from the same source. Like, it's the Naga people. You can look this shit up, or copper people. That's where that word came from.
But what I'm saying, the meaning of the word means to be ignorant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what the meaning is, but my thing is, I feel like it shouldn't be tied to any specific group of people. I feel like that alone is racist.
I don't feel like
it was racist. That was the whole purpose of the term. They used it to identify people of color.
What I mean is, it's just, for me, it's just a word. But to identify that word directly to any group of people just doesn't make sense, because it just means an ignorant person.
Well, I think, but when you say that word, we shorten it up. We know the real meaning behind it is with the ER. No
Mhm.
other race was being called the ER except for one race.
Yeah.
So we shorten that up with the a soft A, and we make it. We own that word when it came to music, friendships, bonding, stuff like that. We made it cool, like he's saying. But nobody else. If we go out and none of us knew each other in the world, and we use the word with the ER, no one to get offended by that name. I mean that word, except for one group of people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, you're right.
Like you wouldn't go call an Asian person ER.
Yeah.
A
I
Mexican
mean, they
doesn't call
call
another
us
Mexican an
yellow,
ER.
gook, and all kinds of shit. I
White
think it's
people
funny.
don't call each other ER.
Yeah.
Yeah, true that.
I just feel like for me, I don't get offended by words, and I don't label those words directly, like even the shit they
Well,
call us. You know what I
I
mean? I
think
don't.
I think really a lot of cultures got their own words
Mhm.
that's specifically for them that they get offended by. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
but
The
I
ER is
understand
us,
because it's the history, right? Makes
you know.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then you got Hispanic people with the words that they call them, you know, something
Mhm.
back. I mean, you can't say the word on here, but something back. They get offended by that. Border brothers, all kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
Asian
everybody,
people got
every
names.
culture has some
Yeah,
derogatory statement that people use to identify them. But
yeah.
I just think for us personally, like we are so used to taking things that were meant to hurt us or things that were made to disrespect us and like flip things around. Like, right, that's like as black folks, we didn't have to be innovators to every situation that ever occurred. So it's like when we make something trendy, the world is gonna follow. How many times have you seen a white boy with dreads, or you didn't seen you know what I mean? You didn't seen different cultures doing different things the way that we do stuff. You know what I mean? Uh, and we bring things to light. You know, from the way that we dress, the slang that we use, the way that we rock our accessories. You know, it's certain things that we started. You know what I mean? And then
What they
Yeah.
say, Larry, they were talking what Puffy say back then. You could tell by the way that we walk, the way that we talk. You know what I mean? They're like, because nobody else don't do it like us. And it's the truth. What he's
Oh
saying.
shit.
and
We
that's
like for instance, like even clothes. Remember, we had the era of
Mhm.
remember True Religion back in the day. True
Yeah,
Religion been out. White people been wearing that, but it wasn't labeled as cool. When
yeah.
niggas start wearing it,
we made it
everybody's
cool.
getting that shit.
We
They
made
had
it
it
cool.
was,
No.
it was the shit to get. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? The
Yeah.
Jordans. Why you think that's stealing style? Because niggas still wearing it. That's why.
Yup.
It just got a different meaning to it. Like
And
Hey.
the clothes, but the culture,
even dancing.
but you got to think about the culture as
Yeah.
a whole, bro. Like with a lot of these artists and shit that's selling, man, it ain't a bunch of brothers going in there buying none of that shit or streaming that shit. That's all the other cultures
Yeah.
that spend a lot of
Yes.
money, man, on these shows and these tickets and
Yep.
going to go watch people
Mhm.
live. I'd have been to some shows, bro, where the headliners and performers might have looked like us, but the crowd didn't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you got to think about something when things are being influenced, bro. Like we as a culture, we are an impactful culture. Our biggest problem that we have is we do not do enough impacting for ourselves. We can affect everybody. We can affect every other part of the world by the way that we get down and the way that we do stuff. People love. You remember them days back in the day, bro, when we used to go to school and we might have braids in our hair, and the white girls are just like, "Oh, let me just feel your braid. I want to touch somebody's." It was cool because they never seen that before. They never experienced that before. This was before YouTube and before all of that. You know what I'm saying? Where, they didn't get to see none of that up close. And then what will happen? A couple weeks later, you'll see somebody of another culture come to school trying to get their hair braided, fringe braided, going back. And so when we do certain stuff, it's popping. Like it's new, it's different. It's things that ain't never been surfaced before. So if we
You're
can
right on that.
if we can take a term that was meant to degrade us and turn it into a term of endearment to where it's socially accepted, that's like another trend that we was able to get popping.
Yeah.
And you're right on that because like when you said like even with the hairstyles you said, I see, I'm just call it what it is, man. When I see some white girls that hang around with all black girls, I see this white girl now. She'll show up next week with braids all in her head now, looking different.
Yeah.
Even
Does that
even
offend you too,
just
though?
clothes and
Braids?
hair.
Like if I was to wear braids, is
But
that a no go for you
I
guys?
mean, but you know where it come from. Depending on how you do your braids, you know, you're not doing your braids like the white girl from the Wendy sign with the two little shit with the you know what I mean? So we know where it comes from. But like,
God,
but then like what
I'm
you said,
done with you guys.
even what you said about dancing too. Look, your whole Jabberwockies, who's rich off this dancing, we know where that come from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got one black dude in the whole group, or everybody else Filipino, but we know we're break dancing and all that shit popping where that comes from. It's not a secret.
It's culture. It's a cultural thing, bro. And so that's what I say. Like, we don't realize the influence that we really be having because we spend too much time in confrontation with each other or not helping build up our own people. But I mean, the influence is ridiculous. I mean, you got to think about it. The influence that we have on the world, on the country is one thing, but on the world, bro, we got cats going across seas and selling out shows, bro, overseas. So that lets you know who buying the tickets.
It ain't us.
It ain't us. It ain't us. So obviously the things that we do influence the masses, and that's why things get picked up the way things get picked up. I mean, you just gotta look at what it is, man. I mean, the shit, hip hop as a whole, and I'm using hip hop as a classification because it's hip hop is easily probably the biggest genre of music.
Yeah, it is.
That's available, and it doesn't just go to
the most influential.
It's influential. I mean, think about it. They're doing drill music in goddamn the UK.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about that shit, bro. They doing drill music in the UK, bro. Like the same music that cats from Chicago is making, cats from UK making the exact same music, bro.
They have Vietnamese kind too.
I know. But
them niggas out in UK get crazy though. I ain't gonna lie, them niggas out in they get crazy with it. They official out there too.
Hey, when I used to pull when I would pull my sound, like it'll pull your sound scan, like where most of your streams is coming from and shit like that. It'll tell you on there on Spotify, like when you got your music up there, bro. And I had so many streams from out the country, it was crazy. Like when you really break it down and it show you that you in X amount of countries, you in 49 of the 50 states, like it show you a whole breakdown of where your music is being streamed from, bro. You'd be surprised how many of them views and streams is from overseas. Like they be
That's pretty cool though.
No, it's definitely cool, but it also lets us know the things that we're doing are touching the masses, right? Like so why would we expect anything else that we do to not be culturally accepted by the masses? We have that influence. We have that influence. That's what we do.
Yo, let me just touch on something you said real quick, 80, because you said that we don't do shit for each other, right? You said like we don't do shit to influence each other, something to that effect, right?
Yeah.
The reason now to like let me piggyback off of that shit right fast. If you listen, like the craziest shit, like CeeLo got this song out, right? Mm-hmm. Oh shit, it's called the Nigga Experience. I don't know if any of y'all ever heard the shit, right? If y'all never heard it, go back and listen to the shit after we get off of this called the Nigga Experience. And basically there was a line that he said in that song that always stuck with me, and it still applies to real life shit to this day. And it was like to the effect of when we do shit, it's all for another nigga to see.
Yeah.
It's always look at me. We always trying to style on somebody else. That's why we don't do shit like you said. Like we're not doing it so we could benefit. We doing this shit so everybody else to see us. When we throw shit on our bikes, when we throw donks on our fucking 86 Cutlass or Buick or whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like making our shit look crazy, it's for somebody else to see. Everything we do is basically like, hey, look at me. You know what I'm saying? And that's just, it's sad to say, but it's a sad reality. You know what I'm saying? But that's what Son said. And it was that song is pretty much like he like, yo, look at us. That's what it's about. It's a dope ass song, but the one shit that he said, it was like it's all for another nigga to see. And we all know somebody, at least one or two people like that, that's like
that's
everything they do is look at me, look at my Jordans, look at me post
that's
this shit
Hey,
online.
hey, don't even just look. You hear me too? You can hear me
yeah.
coming. All the windows roll down. Music on 10. God damn, nigga.
I
How
was
old is you
thinking it,
now?
but I was like, I'm
You
not gonna
still
say
ain't driving that
anything.
safe
Yeah,
shit?
son.
Just
But
so
It's
it's
everybody
always,
can turn while you driving by and see that as you coming like this. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
as
yeah. Like
Same how
nobody
to
give
do
a fuck.
as I,
It's not for you. Niggas don't even do that shit to enjoy it themselves. They
it.
do
Gas
it.
pump.
but you
Remember
know
that? Gas
why?
Look,
pump.
No,
Radio still playing while you went to store to pay for the gas?
but you know why though? You know
why is
why
that?
though? Because it's also a form of validation. Like from where
Mm-hmm.
a lot of us come from, it's a form of validation. As we start getting
Yeah.
older, we validate ourselves more, and it's we don't need the validation from other people. I'm quite sure everybody on the panel knows. Like as you get
Real
older,
shit.
you focused on your own accomplishments, the things that you
Yep.
know you're doing, self preservation, self growth. You know what I mean? Working on business, and so your mind mentally goes to a different place to where I don't give a fuck what no one else think, as long as
Yeah.
I'm taking care of what I got to take care of myself, right? But then on the same token, though, we look for validation in other people when we're operating and doing what we're doing, and that's as a culture. Like I talk to my boys about this shit all the time. I talk to my sons and I tell them, I said, man, you'll be in a room and the richest dude in the room won't look like it if he really doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And I said, and I explained to him, I said, man, you'll get in there and you'll be in there with 5 dudes, and the billionaire will be the one with the New Balance on and the Dockers, and he ain't got a lick of jewelry on and the whole nine. I said the problem with a lot of brothers is we want to show that we get money.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that come from that. A lot of times that come from not coming from a place of wealth, because the more you get financial intelligence, you start learning what's cool and what's not cool. See, a lot of that shit ain't taught to us when we're younger. So we have to go through some shit. We got to experience some shit. I was talking to one of my partners one day, and he was like, man, I just busted a move, man. I just ran into some bread, whoop, whoop, or whatever the deal was, and I'm about to go bust this chain down and do this and do that and do that. I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, like, bro, like you could be doing something totally different with them funds, bro. Like, as opposed to just putting on some shit to go floss for some people that don't give a fuck about you, or a motherfucker that's ready to rob you when they see you maneuver in a certain way. Now, don't get me wrong, we all got our little trinkets and little pieces and all that, but for that to be your mindset at this age, it's more so about, like, you should be out of that stage of trying to show everybody how much money you got. You know what I'm saying? Like when we was younger, that was the thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we want to look like money. We want to show up like money and the whole nine. But as you get older, you don't need the validation from the people, because if you really get in your bag, you know what's in your bag. You ain't gotta wear the whole bag out to show everybody, man, I got some jewelry on. I can wear 5, 6 chains. I can do all this. Like,
You know that bigger flex, 80, is when motherfuckers can tell you got some money about you and you ain't got to show it. You know
you
what
ain't
I'm
gotta
saying?
show it.
That's
Yeah.
the bigger flex.
No, that's real
Yeah.
shit. That's real shit.
They're like,
Yo.
you know, niggas be wearing some regular t-shirts and shit, Larry. And you
Yo.
be like, that nigga got some bread. How you know?
Hey,
I can just tell.
hey, I told you. Yo, when I used to have my Jag, when I used to whip the XF, nigga, I used to try to go to store the bummiest ever. Like the shit that I don't wear outside the house right now, I'm wearing all of that shit because I want people to think that. I feel comfortable. It's like Son said, it's like 80 said, like I was so comfortable in my own skin, knowing that I didn't put it this way. Like I seen this couple, right, one time. They was in Smith's. They looked like they were straight homeless. There was an old ass white couple. The oldest white couple I ever seen in my fucking life, son. And real shit. And I was like, they stood out so much in Smith's. I was like, look at them two niggas right there, right? Look at them. We all left the store at the same time. These niggas, don't you know they hopped on one of the dopest Harleys I ever seen in my life? I was like, oh shit. And it's like you said, man, like got the money and don't even show it, bro. You know what I'm saying? So when I used to whip my shit, I used to be like, who gives a fuck what I look like when I go out? Like, I know I'm good. Like, you know what I'm saying? And the same people that's talking about me like I was, or rather thinking about me or looking at me the same way I was looking at that white couple, they're gonna go out to the parking lot at the same time as me and watch me hop in this XF on he has. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be the same shit. But it's like you said, man, it's like the people that's more well off, or the people that, you know what I'm saying, that really got it don't ever really have to show it. They're not doing money phones and none of that weird shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because they don't got to. It's not a for them. It's not a competition to show. They don't. Their level of success shows in the moves that they're making, as opposed to materialistic materialistic shit. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I be trying to push to the young bulls about. You know, having their money, saving their money. You know what I'm saying? Having good spending habits. You know what I mean? Because it's easy to get derailed, especially in the day and age of social media, right? Because on social media, you see everybody highlights. You see it. That's the biggest flex. Everybody, I mean, as far as the visual flex, you know, you can get online, motherfuckers renting the Corvettes and all type of other goofy ass shit, and renting businesses and shit, and acting like they doing it live.
It be us. You right, the designer clothes. We still the only ones still walking around with a pocket full of money when everything is on cards.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you one of my biggest things that really just it set my mind hella different. You know, I be hitting them clubs, you know, fucking with the clubs and shit. And out here, you know, the clubs is hella different in Houston. Nigga, these clubs be for real. But we getting booths and shit. We doing the thing, bottles, all this shit or whatever. And I'm looking around. I'm like, okay, good. It's about a good 20 booths in this joint. Everybody booth packed out with hella people that everybody put in on bottles and put it on booths and the whole nine. And I'm looking at that shit like, damn, everybody got a booth packed to that motherfucker. Each booth, damn near, you know what I'm saying, 1,500 a booth. Then we talking about bottles, 200 a bottle and the whole nine. I'm saying all that to say this. You can get 10 motherfuckers to piece up on a booth quick to the motherfucker, but you can't get them same 10 people to put it on the business.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? And so that's when I started looking at that shit and I was seeing, I'm like, damn, you know, motherfuckers, we so quick to put our money together to do some bullshit, but we're not quick to put that brand together to be able to grow and build. And that's where my comment that came from earlier. You know what I'm saying, Legend? Like, that's what I be talking about. Like, we can put on for the masses. We can do the BET Awards. We can do the fashion shows. We can do all the shit that symbolizes greatness. And the rest of the world will pick the shit up. But we not picking up the traits of the shit that we need to be picking up to get our people right.
Yeah. Hey, Legend, when you were saying about the clothes, outfits, money, just showing off the money and stuff, money phones and all that, niggas will show you everything but that motherfucking zip code. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Tell me that zip code.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. I don't care, because all that other shit you got, anybody can get that. But everybody can't move where that motherfucker live at. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
But see, well, you can't take the zip code to the club. You can't show that.
Yeah.
When you start putting big ass houses on rims and you can draw that to the club, then niggas will probably start thinking about houses. Until then, I'm only interested in buying shit I can show y'all niggas right now.
Niggas
you know what I mean?
You got cats going in debt. You got cats going in debt, so they can pull up in a car that they paying $1,200 a month for and shit in the whole nine. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, motherfuckers being up to their eyeballs. No, they got debt up to Wuhan. You know what I'm saying? they got debt. You know, they in debt just to show you they got something. You know what I'm saying? And you even see it with shit like, I'm gonna tell you what I be seeing shit too, like being in certain areas when you get closer to the you know where most of us at.
I forgot that nigga, that phone turned on, just so y'all know.
I got a phone call.
It do work.
I got a phone call.
The nigga pull the antenna up, nigga. That phone do work.
Crazy.
I thought it was somebody.
I haven't seen one of those in forever.
Never ignorant, getting goals accomplished. That's a nigga for you.
Goals accomplished. Word nigga.
Now there's two niggas though. There's a nigger and there's nigga. We made nigga cool. We haven't made nigger acceptable. So
we
I don't get offended. I don't get it. I don't get offended by the word nigger or nigger.
Nigga crazy.
Hey, hold on.
The
We can't
only
use
time
the ER. We can't use the ER. We can't use the ER
I
on
can't.
live. No.
Oh,
Hey,
can't.
no
We
hard
get banned and they
ERs.
can block us. Yeah.
No hard ERs. They're soft
We
A's.
just say
No
ER
hard,
South
no
Bay.
hard
Yeah.
ER, though. No hard
Hey, let me
ER,
call my
bro.
lawyer.
Y'all crazy.
Okay.
Man.
I'm not offended by that word with the ER or the GA. Only time I might get offended is if it's a close Caucasian friend of mine's and me and him get into it. And I'm talking about a friend, like a family member, maybe he's married to my sister or whatever. If he used that word, then it's a wrap. But outside of that, if a Caucasian person used that word that I'm not affiliated with, I laugh. I don't care about it. As far as the GA with the GA at the end, I love that word because I've laced a lot of lyrical raps with that word. I've been using that word as long as I can remember when, even got it down to a pad, to a style. So I like that word. It's unfortunate that it's a lot of people out here that's using it, that's getting their life taken over it. I didn't know it was at that level, or taking their life. What would make a person take their life over using that word? Do y'all have an answer for that?
You said having somebody.
It blows my mind. What would make a person take their life over using that word?
What do you mean?
Especially a non-Caucasian individual. That Mexican was not Caucasian.
I ain't never heard.
So
I ain't never heard nobody taking their life. Or nobody's life being taken by it.
I never heard
that's
nobody
crazy to me.
that shit.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. So I don't know. I don't feel like it should be used loosely, but I just feel like a lot of things need to be assessed better and need to be focused on what happened and what was that. I walked in the store today and I saw Snoop's clothing line, and he's got the whole Crip clothing line. Like he's got, like, somebody gonna get shot in that clothing. Now, me, I'm ignorant enough to wear it unless I'm in a certain part of the hood, right? I don't like his clothing. I might like a few pieces, but I'll never test it if I'm in a specific part of where I shouldn't be. Some places you shouldn't be. But as far as like just an average person wearing that attire that he's selling in your local stores, like he's got a full-fledged Crip outfit. He's got the top and he's got the bottom, and it has the whole handkerchief scarf design on it too, like straight Crip.
Mhm.
Somebody's gonna. So I said that to say this: everything we do, it always attracts because we have the ability as I want to say that word so bad. We have the ability as Black folks to take the negative they throw at us and turn it into the positive. This is mimicking an ankle bracelet, right? So I walk in the I put this around my ankle. So I walked inside the gas station today to get some water. It's a Black dude up in the cut. He see me walk in. He speaks to me. When I'm about to leave, he say, "Hey, he said, I can't say." He said, "The man got you, huh? The man got you, huh, bro?" And I said, "Nah, man." I said, "You wish." I said, "This is a ankle pouch," and he didn't even know what to say. So I said that to say this. It goes back to what I heard y'all say earlier about people flying overseas to listen to our music and this and this. They love what's deemed to be more ignorant that they bestowed upon us than we love ourselves. We just have to dumb it down and create it to where they can make more money off of it than we do. What we have to do is try to find out how do we monetize it, because it wasn't a Black person that made this. It was a Black person that came up with the light bulb. It wasn't Einstein. It was a Black person that came up with the fan and all these other things. It's a lot of Black stuff, creativity that we Black folks have created, but nobody shines a light on that because it's positive creation. But they do shine a light on negative creation that they're profiting off of. They're profiting off of everything negative in the streets, but they're not profiting off of nothing Black in the streets. They're not profiting off. We're not profiting off of it. So our issue is we need to try to find that fine line to where those profits can internalize back into us, and maybe we can have that money that we don't need from other Black corporations to start our own Black Wall Street again, because that was the only peak that I saw us leveling up as when we started really being somebody in America as black people, when we had Black Wall Street. Ever since they burnt it down, it was over. And then they went back to calling us NIGGERs, you know? So I don't get it, but I don't, Benz, I think you said that dude died over using that word? That was a rapper?
No, you said that.
Oh, so did he pass away over that? Oh, he said that?
No, I was gonna put the no. He was just speaking on it. I was gonna show the video when y'all had got done. So for those that didn't see the video, y'all get caught up to speed what he was talking about out there in Houston.
Oh, okay. You about to play it now, right?
Yep.
Roll the film.
All right, y'all see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't see it.
you
Oh, I
can
see
say
it
the
now.
N-word.
I feel like I can't say it, but not because of that, and I'm gonna tell you why. What the are you gonna do about it?
But wait, there's more.
I grew up loving these motherfuckers. I grew up fighting with them. I grew up eating with them. I grew up doing bad with them. I grew up loving with them. You know, I got family, and it's not even about family. Even if I wasn't related to nobody, I'm black. I mean, it's what the I was surrounded by. You know.
Now, Mexican OT said, hey, the reason why I use the N-word, it's not because I'm being disrespectful. I grew up with these dudes. Like, you know, I admire these dudes. I mean, you know, I went to war with these dudes. Like, I'm from the same places that they're from, too. Now, it's interesting because, again, he does play the Mexican card, you know, the Mexican flag and all of that. But you can look at him and tell that, hey, there is some level of black influence in what he does. And the internet is divided on if he should be able to say the N-word or not.
If you are not black, you cannot use the N-word. I am an unambiguous Afro-Latina. I am a black woman. And if I had a cousin that looked like Mexican OT Genesis, which I have, if any of them said the N-word, I'm slapping the shit out of them on sight. No ifs, ands, or buts. I'm not even thinking twice about it. And you know why? Because that word was reclaimed by black people. Someone is telling you that something is offensive, and you were like, oh, well, what are these N-words gonna do about it? That's crazy disrespectful. I'm not mad at Cleotrapa for asking the question because I feel like Cleotrapa is the only one in that room that had enough cojones to ask. Now, Angela Yee, this is her show. This is your show. And on top of it being your show, it's not like you're a nobody. It's not like you're not connected. So you could have easily like checked him and been like, oh, you need to get out of here. Like, we're not going to continue. The men that was with him, I find it to be equally disturbing that none of them said anything. Nobody said anything to this guy, like at all. Nah.
So there is an Afro-Latina lady who was like,
But see, okay, so let me just say this. Let me say this. See, when I hear her say that, this is what sparks the controversial part of this conversation. So she's offended because somebody who grew up and is a part of the culture has accepted their role in their part of the culture. You got to understand that. Like, it's a lot of places out here in Texas, especially the Houston area that I've been familiar with, where the black and the Mexicans is there together, just how we are in Northern California. It's not segregated with the politics like Southern California, where the Mexicans only really deal with the Mexicans and the blacks only deal with the blacks. So from the standpoint of us reclaiming the name, we made the shit popular no matter how you slice it. They used it as a derogatory. And so she's upset with it to the point to where she's talking about, you know, if I hear somebody saying I'm gonna slap them and do this and woo up and all that old shit. But then if that's the case, then you should really feel the same about your own people using it. Right? Like, what's more offensive? Somebody who don't like you using the term, or somebody who looks just like you and is supposed to be basically shutting off the meaning of it?
With me, I'll put it.
I feel like if you're offended by this person using it, then you should be offended by everyone.
You should be offended, but you should really be offended by your own people using it. If that's the case, then.
Yeah.
Right.
I just think it reflects more on the person who gives that word so much power. Like I understand the history, but here's where I'm gonna keep it a buck without trying to get off topic because it's hard to discuss it without like completely going left. I have a different view because I have a different understanding of all of our where we come from originally. And I don't want to open that can of worms, but my views are different because I have my views are not the same as everybody else's. You know what I mean? And I mean that literally. I just have a different understanding of where we all come from. And I think labeling or associating any word to any group of people, if we all come from one source, literally, that's because if we think about it, I mean, it's hard to mention it without going left. The bottom line is, I feel like people need to know where they came from. Because if you think, when I say one source, all of us started off from the same tribe, the Naga people. That's the copper people, right? And if you can look it up right now, you're not going to see any white colored person in any tribe ever. You know what I mean? And that's my understanding of where we all come from. And that's where that, when we say the N word, that's where it originates from.
Didn't me and you get into it last time?
No, we haven't, but I don't want to open that can of worms.
I'm gonna leave you alone.
Let's just get back on subject. The bottom line is,
I'm gonna
I have
leave
a
you
different
alone.
understanding, and I cannot, because of my understanding, if unjust to you is unjust to me, and vice versa. So that's how I feel. Whether it's a system, whether it's a word, if somebody uses a word that offends you, I don't think we should give words too much power.
But
However,
this is my point. This is my problem with it. Let me say this.
Yeah.
You can't be offended by one person using it and then another person you're not offended when someone else use it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
That shit don't make no goddamn sense. So my thing,
Correct.
my thing is just this. If it's gonna be used, or if you got a problem with another culture using it, you should really have a problem with your own people using it. If that's the case.
Nah, this is how I view it. The word bitch that can be used two different ways. Do y'all agree or no?
I agree.
If you see
That
if you see your homegirl,
there ain't a word on
if you see if you see your homegirl in the club, you gonna say, yo, what up? You gonna say that, right?
Okay, well, yeah.
But then if you see a chick that you don't know and she try to get at your man and she been on some shady, you gonna say bitch. There's two ways you can use it. So that's my take on the word. That's my take on it.
Any scenario.
That's my take on the N word. It just has to be respected. That's it. That word has to be respected by those greater than the ones that own it. We own that word. So anybody else, any other race that's using that word and it doesn't follow with respect, they're in the danger zone, obviously.
But that's the thing,
now,
though.
this
We all come from one source. So if that's what
it has
saying,
no.
That's
another.
You don't own that word.
No, we own that word.
Real.
We own that word. We own that word.
But
did you coin it? Did you coin the phrase?
To associate any
did you coin that phrase? Did you coin? Or do you write raps? Are you a rapper? Do you wear gold chains?
I'm not gonna
do you wear gold chains?
I'm not a rapper.
We coined that. If you're not being lynched, like if you're being lynched, then you're the NIGGER. If you're wearing gold chains and everything, you're the NIGGA. So there is a difference with that. We coined that phrase and we removed that ER and we made it cool. So any race that's using that word outside of us, tread lightly on it and use it with respect. If that's my homie and he's a Mexican or he's a white dude and we inside my crib, then I'll kind of let him use that word. Yo, I was here and there. You know what I'm saying? But if we're out in public, I won't tolerate him using that word, especially if he's a Caucasian person.
Back to what I said.
So there's a different way to use it.
I constantly remind you, if you go through trauma, and I constantly remind you.
You're not, though. You're not. I don't have trauma by it no more.
Yeah,
I told you
people that are offended, people that get offended by it, having healed through their stuff. Otherwise,
it depends on. Yeah, because the context is being used. The context, the way it's being used. I just explained it with the bitch. The same word that affects you is the same word that can make you feel cool. If a lot of people feel cool when you say NIGGA, yo, what up, man? It's
don't
what
know
up, Mike?
anything,
It's a
I'm
lot
just
of people
there.
feel good, cool that say that. So
Uh-huh.
and the flip side of that, it's a lot of people that feel greatly offended by that same word. So that's how I analyze it. It has to
But
be
I view it like
respected.
this.
That's it.
but my
If you
It
argument,
have a
has to
group
but
be
of
respected.
females, right? If you have a group of females, we're gonna use the B word, like you just said, as an example. If I'm in a group of 50 broads and some dude comes through and starts saying, "Hey, bitches, like get in line" or something, all these girls will probably get hella pissed off. But for me, I'll
Yeah,
just
of
laugh and
course,
think it's. I'm like,
because
you know
y'all
what
don't
everybody
know them.
said, like, you know what I mean? Because you gotta know who
Y'all
you
don't
are. When
know
you
them.
love yourself, then those labels go away. It doesn't matter
now,
But
anymore.
you don't know
You
them,
already
so
know
you
yourself.
should get you should get offended. You should.
Why? I'm not a bitch, so it doesn't bother me.
but on the flip side,
But he doesn't know you, so he has no right to do
Well,
that.
it won't. No, but it's just a label, though.
I hate that they took I hate that they took Aunt
on the flip
Jemima off
side,
the syrup. I hate that they took Aunt Jemima. Hold on. I hate that they took Aunt Jemima off the syrup. That didn't
The
bother
syrup?
me.
What the hell?
That did not bother. The syrup don't even taste the same no more. I want to see Aunt Jemima. That's what I grew up with. Sitting in my mom's kitchen, eating sausage, eggs, and looking at her on that syrup bottle. That's how sensitive we've gotten. Yes, I know where it originated from, but we black people know how to dumb the pain down. That's why we still meet other races with love. So I guess it's up to us pretty much to make that decision on how we take it or not. Me personally, I'm numb to it, depending on how it's used. Like I said earlier, and I'm done. If
Let me
my
ask you a question,
sister,
though.
if my black sister is married to a Caucasian, and me and my now brother-in-law get into it, and he calls me the N-word, that's the only time I'm gonna get offended. So it
Okay, let me
depends
ask
on
you
what
guys a
Let me
question,
context
say
though.
you're
something.
using it.
Hey, let me say something. Reflect. Look, let me just say this, man. Like, what it all comes down to, like I said, is just each their own, man, and everybody different. Because my baby mom's is white, man, and the first time I ever been called the N-word with the hard ER was by her mom. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? Guess what? I wasn't even offended because I knew what she was trying to do. She was trying to offend me. So I was like, I see what you're
Wait, your
trying
own
to do
baby's
here,
mom
but it's
called you
not
that?
working.
That's just crazy. That don't
You know what
even
I'm saying?
make
I
sense
was
to
like,
me.
yo, I see what you're trying to do here, but it's not
That was
working.
crazy.
It didn't even work. That shit just bounced off me. I swear to God. That shit just bounced off me, son. I was like,
He
yo,
still
But
lost
that's
some
like the
points from
last
that, though.
person you should be hearing that shit from. You feel me? It's
say
just
what?
Fred experience. That's just crazy shit. That is wild shit to me.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
look,
disrespect.
I just think it's
she
just I never seen that or heard that, and I feel like that's so out of pocket. Like
it was used
yo,
though.
look,
It was
weird
used
hearing
with the
y'all
it was
say that.
used with the it was used with the purpose though to try to hurt you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
No, but
And
why?
Like
so
I
Why
said,
would she?
like
I
I
mean,
But
this
that's
is
see
the
your
what
last
personal
the
person
whole
business.
that should
point.
be referring to
It's your
you like
personal
that.
business. It's your personal business. But if she loved her daughter, and you was part of that family, she shouldn't have never crossed that line.
Yep,
Yo, look,
never. And I don't give a shit
let me
how
just
mad
say
you get.
this.
You can walk away.
Let
There
me
ain't
let me
no
just say this.
excuse.
Look. The argument was between Shorty and her moms, right?
Yeah,
I defended my Shorty against her moms. So when
yeah.
I got involved, she said, whatever, you nigga. And I looked at her, I was like, I laughed. I was like, nah, you ain't gonna get me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I laughed at this shit. You know what I'm saying?
But
Because
that's
I
just
already
wild,
knew what she
though.
was trying to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you said, reflect, like, if you have a brother-in-law or a mother-in-law, whoever it is, as part of your family, and they call you out of your race,
If I have a
you're gonna
brother-in-law or
get
a
That's the
offended.
sister-in-law
only
that
time that
But
calls
would
you
me
get me
gotta
shit like
tight.
that, I'll
understand, if
probably
you
change that
understand
to
the
bitch.
reason why they did that shit, you might respond. You never know how you might respond, because you might respond aggressively, or you might respond the way I did and was like, no,
Yeah,
bitch.
but the
Like
but the reason why I
point.
hold
You know what I'm saying?
the reason why I hold a different nationality within the family at a higher level is because you're in the family of that sensitive situation. So that's when you've sworn to never cross that line. If you was
But
gonna
how you
cross
know that
that
they
line, then
sworn and
that
never
means
crossed the line?
I feel
that
like
means
it's just
everything's up
common
to the
Never
wedding.
sense,
crossed the line, because the truth
and
is
that's
this,
just
bro.
crazy.
Look, one of my best friends out here, man, he was Italian. I used to work with the dude. You know what I'm saying? May he rest in heaven. He was killed by the cops out here. But he you know, we was best friends, bro. He was one of my closest dudes, Italian dude, and we used to work together, and we was in competition to see who could make the most money for the company. I was making the most bread, and while I was away, you know, one thing led to another, and to another black person, he called me the N-word because he was in his feelings. You see what I'm saying? So it's like I didn't get and you know what? I got offended by it.
Yeah, but at that level, I wouldn't. At that level,
tells you everything you need to know.
And we fought. But it
yeah,
depends.
but at that level, I wouldn't have got offended. Like I said, I'm numb to it outside of that stipulation, what I just named. Unless I'm at the Grammy Awards and Brad Pitt comes. It depends on the level.
Now it depends on the level of who you are, because everybody wouldn't have got offended, as proven by what you just said, by that situation. But at the same time, when it came to my mother-in-law at that time, when she said it,
that's family ties, though.
No offense.
Because what if your other family members was around when she used that word? What if you have a brother? What if your mom was around when she used that word? You know, it's so many battles. It's so many battles. It's so many ripple effects with that.
Then I had no control over. I know, but all I could control is how I respond, because they're talking to me. They're addressing me, so I can't tell you.
I know, but you're the gatekeeper of that within your family.
I get that.
So I'm saying you're the gatekeeper of that, because if we out with the homies.
If we out with the homies, listen, to answer your question, son. What about it? I can't tell you. I can't vouch for nobody else. I can only tell you how I'm gonna respond. If they said it, if that was said in front of my mom's, maybe I would have gotten offended. Maybe I would have took it in stride the way I did. It depends. There's sometimes I look at it like this, bro. No matter what it is in life, bro, sometimes you in the mood for shit. Sometimes you just not in the mood for it.
Right, that is true. That is true. But my white friends
that you will let slide all the time. Today, you just not in the mood for that shit. And the same thing you let slide,
my Caucasian and Hispanic friends know not to use that word when they're out with me around the homies or around anybody black. They know not to use that word. They know not to be. They know not to use that word. They just know.
When they're around certain people.
No, when they out around anybody black of ethnicity, anybody black, any of my white affiliates or white friends will never use that word, even though I'm friends with them.
But you got to also understand that's what I said from the beginning, though. It has a lot to do with where you're from. Because I got white friends too that would never dare use the word, because in their mind it only means one thing. But where they're from, that's what it means. Where they're from, it's only used as a derogatory term. But for the masses,
if it's coming out of somebody else's mouth that is not black, you can't put a meaning on it. If I hear that word, even with the A at the end, I'm hearing the same word. If I hear that word, no matter with the ER or the GA, if it's coming out of somebody, another racist's mouth, it's the same meaning. You can't separate it. The only people that can separate the meaning is us. We're the only ones that can separate that meaning.
I disagree, though, and I'm gonna tell you why, though. Because if and this is what I'm gonna tell you, and this is why I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. If you from a poverty-stricken neighborhood and it happens to be multiple races in that same poverty-stricken neighborhood, what difference do it make what color it is if all y'all broke?
No, it makes a lot of difference. It makes a lot of difference, because when the cops pull through that hood, when the cops pull up through that hood, if somebody call the cops, who they looking at first? Are they looking at you, or are they looking at your? Are they looking at your?
What I'm trying to make is this: y'all go to the same liquor store to get the same Swishers. Y'all go to the same fucked up ass school. Y'all play for the same fucked up ass football team. He goes to the same fucked up ass
levels.
store to get that old
Hey, let me.
There's levels.
He from the same.
Hey, there's levels.
He just
hold on.
He just ain't the
there's
same
levels.
Hold on. Let me just
there's
say
levels.
this. Hey, let me just say this. Touch on what you said, Reflection. It don't matter if your skin is a certain tint, if you a certain paint job, it don't matter whether you in a poverty-stricken neighborhood or not. You could be in the gated community. When a cop show up, they're gonna look at you as the harder you are.
But that's not.
That's
But that's
just
not
the
what we.
bottom
But
line.
that's
It don't
not.
matter
That's
what.
it.
But that's not what we're talking about.
The
though.
That's
harder you are.
it. They're not
what we're
checking
talking
for
about.
everybody else first. They're checking for the black person that's standing around first.
That's not what we.
They checking for the black person.
Y'all talking about racial profiling. That's not what we're talking about right now.
That's affiliated with that word.
That's something totally
That's
different.
affiliated with that word.
But when you say a
profiling,
poverty-stricken neighborhood, what I'm trying to say is
because
this: it don't have to be a poverty-stricken neighborhood. When it comes to people
But
that's
it do,
not
though.
black, because
It
we
do,
don't look
it-
at each
it-
other from a poverty-stricken neighborhood standpoint. It's the
What-
other people that view us from the outside looking in that they might judge us based on whether we poverty-stricken or not. And if
But
they're
this is what
white,
I mean, though. This is what
they
I mean,
definitely
though.
don't care.
This is what I mean, though. For it to be culturally accepted, the parts of the culture that have accepted it the most come from the same walks of life that we do. So that's what I said. If I hear
No, we didn't have no conglomerate.
If I know somebody who happens to be a different race, and I know he really about that action, because
He still has no right.
You can't
It
make
has
it seem
to.
like you don't know nobody who really like that. If he really
It
like
has
that,
to come from a conglomerate.
If he really like that, he's already been accepted.
It doesn't matter.
So
It doesn't matter. It has to come from. It has to come from the Negro. It has to come from the Negro conglomerate. It has to come from us. We own that.
Wait. Let me ask you this, 80. Let me ask you this. If you was in the streets and you a street dude, you ran into another street dude who was happened to be white. If he called you, if he said, "Yo, what up, my soft A," how would you feel? Would you feel that same type of way? Like, yo, you stamped and you official, you came from the turf like I did?
But listen to me though, I done been there. That's why I'm telling you.
I'm asking you, like, I'm just asking you.
Now that's gonna be more accepted on my behalf as opposed to some dude that's from the suburbs just trying to be cool and trying to fit in and just using the word.
That's crazy.
I'm not trying to find out who got stripes in the streets.
But see, that's
crazy.
I'm not trying to find out who got stripes in the streets.
Yo,
disrespect is disrespect like that. Disrespect like that.
That's crazy.
If I did this around a Jew, what if I did this around a Jew? What do you think that'll do to them? If I did this, the Hitler. If I did the Hitler thing, if I called a Mexican a wetback,
you talking about something that ain't been socially accepted though. Who the fuck does it? You don't see nobody doing no fucking Hitler stands, bro. Like, what the fuck?
But I'm just telling you, what if I did that?
Accepted though. We talking about something that is so. You hear other races say nigga more than we do
because we made it cool. Because we've made it cool. They haven't made the SWAT.
It can't be cool.
They haven't made.
When I do it.
They haven't made what Kanye West doing cool in their heritage. The Jews suffered a lot, and they will not allow that to be made cool. Mexicans went through their own. They won't let that wetback part be cool. Why is it that niggas? Oh, my bad. Why is it that us Negroes are the only ones that will allow what we fought for and rebranded to be still made fun of? You're allowing that to be foolishly made fun of because we've made it cool. Because we made it cool.
We're not allowing.
Wait, do you guys ever question where do these words come from?
If we're the ones using it, if we're the ones using it in the context that we're using it, and everyone else is embracing what we're doing and making it casual, then it's not.
But that don't give. But that's not us allowing them. That's not us allowing them. We put it out there. They're using it. They're using it. But have one person ever walk to you and say, "Hey, can I say this?" Nobody, no white person, no Caucasian person, no Hispanic, no Italian ever said, "Can I use that word to me?" Ever. They've never verbally got a cosign out of my mouth. And I don't care what stripes you got in the streets. I'm not checking for that. So we still own that word. So we have a right to say who can and who can't.
We don't own shit.
I don't care.
We don't own shit. That word is used more. If we took a goddamn survey on who uses that most, we probably use it less. We don't own that shit. We just took it and
I
made it fashionable.
I probably use that word every 5 seconds.
We just took the shit and made it fashionable, bro. It would have never been fashionable if we still took it as a term.
No,
derogatory.
no, we don't. We use the GA fashionable. We never made the NIGER fashionable. We never made the ER fashionable.
I don't think anybody.
We've never made the ER fashionable.
I don't think that was ever a discrepancy on whether it was used.
Hollywood is Hollywood always says GA. They've always used the GA. They never used the E.
When was the last time?
Right.
When was the last time somebody called you a hard ER?
What is that?
Last time somebody called you a hard ER? Think about it.
RER.
When the last time somebody called you the ER?
It's either the hard ER or the soft A, bro. Come on, man.
I mean, it's probably so dumbed down in my mind. I can't even hear the ER no more.
But this is what I'm saying though.
I kid you not. I used to go to work every night. I used to go to work. I used to go work every night. Yeah, when I first started learning how to curse, it sounded so corny. So people start telling me stop cursing, and it wasn't because the words was foul. It's because I said it so corny. And then when I start using the word, and then when I start using the N word, I said that so venomous that it bothered another black person, and they said stop using that.
And I can make a guarantee on this. I can guarantee all this right here. Everybody on this panel been called the GA more recently than they've been called the hard ER, and by people of
yeah, that is true. Too. Yeah.
Okay. And so that's what I'm saying.
But that's what's made fashionable, not the ER.
But only time a person even uses the ER like that is if they try to get their face punched in. Like they don't use that shit. That's not a term of endearment. So when that's being used,
I know, but you said earlier, if somebody done put in work in them streets and they about that action, you pretty much said they had a right.
I didn't say they had the right to use the ER.
I don't care if you got 2 A's at the end.
That ain't what I said.
I don't care if you got a triple E.
I never said that.
It's up.
That's not what I said.
That's what you said. That's what you said.
I didn't say putting in work gives them an opportunity to use the hard ER. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, I'm saying the slang term that we use. You know what I'm saying? You stupid man.
That's what you said. Don't
Hey, you see this on the screen?
hey, but you know what I'm saying though. Like if you hear
I'm just saying.
If you hear somebody from the suburbs, if you hear somebody from the suburbs and they bust you with the NIGA, you know it's coming from a corny ass place, bro. And that's what I mean. Like, you know it's coming from a corny. That's the shit that sound like you walked in and hit the DJ booth and the shit, and the party started, the music started. You're like, hold on, that shit don't even sound right coming out your mouth. But what I'm saying is, but if you know somebody that's really from the trenches and somebody you rock with or somebody you just know it's authentic, they're not coming at it. They're not coming from no Malibu's Most Wanted standpoint, or nor is they coming from it like a Mississippi Burning standpoint. You understand there's a difference between how it's being used.
Well, it depends on with my Caucasian friends, because I got a lot of Caucasian friends in and out of halfway houses, and they've been actually, I have a friend that actually introduced me and showed me how to use my first gun, and he gave me a whole garbage bag of guns and said, "Yo, this is how it's done." Boom, boom, boom. Because I had some issues, right? He was a Caucasian dude, white as heck. You saw him. He put in work. You saw him. He never used that word. To this day, he's never used that word. So you said it's where you from? Not necessarily. It depends on the respect level that they know they should be at with you. And they should.
And that's real.
If I was a Caucasian person, it don't depend on where I'm from. I'm just not using it. So much I'm respecting you. And I'm not saying you're being disrespected, but I'm just saying, if I'm your friend, I'm gonna know the lines to cross and not cross. I'm just not gonna open that Pandora's box. I'm not going to do it. If I have a Jewish friend, there's certain things that I won't do that I know conflicts and brings them pain through their religion. You know, so I'm just not like a Muslim. If I'm married or affiliated with one, or I'm around a Muslim, it's certain things that I'm not going to do that's going to offend that Muslim. So certain people should know if they call themselves your friend or your hood or your whatever you're from, and just certain things that they shouldn't do without even finding the answer or the consequence. It might not even be consequences. It's just certain things that they should naturally know. I'm not going to do that. It's like walking to somebody's house. And for me, I've always taken my shoes off immediately. Right when I walk in, take my shoes off. And if I gesture to take them off, they'll say, "Oh, now you good." But I wait until they tell me. If they don't tell me, my shoes is coming off. So that's how most of the friends I try to keep around me like that. Now, if we're hanging out in the garage or something like that and whatever, and things are not, the T's are not crossed and the I's are not dotted, then we're hanging out as homies and whatever like that. But I'm talking about when we're moving it out in public. You know what I'm saying? I already know how to move. And most of my acquaintances know how to do that. It's just instant respect when you walk in somebody's crib. You just know.
Well,
check this shit out right quick. Hey, look, real quick. Yo, I just want to address Old Man Cali, man. Like, you posted the comments, Benz. Old Man Cali said, what made this an issue is Mexican OT said, I'm going to say it. There's nobody going to do anything. Make New York niggas look.
What you going to do about it?
I don't know. Yo, first of all, how would make New York niggas look weak? Because the interview was held in New York? They're niggas from Texas. So it don't make Texas niggas look weak? That makes no sense. That comment makes no fucking sense. First of all.
The only people that
hold on, fam. Hold on. Let me finish right fast. I'm gonna give you the floor in a sec. If he's a rapper, that means he's traveling from state to state. So that means not only do it make New York niggas look weak and Texas niggas look weak, but it makes every city that he travels in and uses that word look weak. Does that not make any fucking sense?
No, it makes the people in that room. It makes the people in that room. It makes the people in that room. Was there any dude in that room? Was there any black dude in that room?
Not. And look, and Shorty said, yo, and she made it sound like Angela Yee was supposed to check the nigga. What is she supposed to do? So let's be real about it. Like, but we that's not what I was gonna say. But I get your point. Then he said it wasn't him saying he was gonna say the N-word or with the soft A, but it was the fact he said nobody gonna do anything about it.
And they not.
Yo, dude.
Yeah, that's where he messed up.
Yo, you right.
That's what he meant. See what I'm saying? See what I said about the respect level?
Nobody's not gonna do anything about it, and it's not the fact that you in New York. It's not the fact that someone's in New York and nobody gonna do nothing about it. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing about it anyway.
Anyways, ain't nobody.
No, I would. No, I would.
Hold on, son.
I would.
It's not just him.
I would.
It's any other rapper. He's a rapper. We talking about a rapper. We're not just talking about some random ass dude. We're not talking about a random.
But he's not a black rapper. He's not a black rapper.
But listen. The fact. Listen.
The context was disrespectful. The context was disrespectful. If I was sitting on that panel, he would have had to deal with me. I wouldn't have let him say, "Well, I'm gonna do about it." Nigga, you're not black. Oh, you're not black. What are you talking about? What I'm gonna do about it? So it's the respect that he crossed. He disrespected. He disrespected.
Listen. What I'm saying is this: when somebody say the fact that he said wasn't nobody gonna do nothing about it, Old Man Cali, I'm asking you, who do you expect to do something about it? Angela Yee, dudes in New York, dudes in Texas, dudes in other cities that he touring and that he uses the N-word in the
No, it has to be in that room. It has to be in that room. If the cameraman was black, if the cameraman. No, but
he uses that word because he didn't. Yo, son, he didn't even use the word where he was at, where they was interviewing. They was interviewing him about.
Okay, so you know how many race. So you know how many racist people.
He didn't use the word.
Okay, you know how many. You know how many. Okay, so you know how many white teachers that use that word when they got pissed off at a classmate. You know how many politicians use that word in the office through their emails.
Right.
So are you gonna? How are they gonna be dealt with? It has to be dealt with. Whoever's present. Whoever's present at that time. That's how you deal with that. Whoever was present.
So my point. So before he got to NY, he was already using the word long before he did that interview with Angela Yee. Am I not right?
I bet you're not disrespectful like that.
I'm pretty sure he
Not
went.
disrespectful like that. I bet you he never told his black friends what they gonna do about it. I bet you he never said that.
Listen.
So that's what changes it.
Listen.
It's the level of disrespect and articulate. It's how you articulate. It goes back to the BITCH. It's how it's used. He should have been slapped on stupid when he said, and what you gonna do about it?
Bro, he was in the room with nothing but women. Who was gonna slap him, bro? Let's be realistic.
That's why I said it can't be dealt with outside of that, really, depending on who want to act on it. Unless there was a black cameraman or somebody in the behind the shadows black, then maybe they should have stepped in and dealt with it.
Do anything about it, they would have done something about it. It's like he said, who's gonna do something about it? Ain't nobody gonna do nothing about it. When he get back home to Texas or wherever the fuck he from, ain't nobody gonna do nothing about it anyway. Bro,
I believe, depending on who watched it,
or whatever his name is, bro, Mexican OT. Let's worry about everybody else, all these other white dudes or Mexican dudes or whoever that's using the N-word. We can't just single out.
Do you remember Slim Jesus? They called him.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
do you think he ever used that?
I don't know. I never heard him use it. I never heard him use the N-word.
I bet you he didn't.
But I never heard him.
So we just going
on speculation. We just assuming. But guess what? If he did, he's around a bunch of black dudes that gave him the pass. You know what I'm saying? He would be that same white dude that would be around me, who I don't have a rapport with. Me and you not cool, like I explained earlier, and in the beginning of the podcast, we not cool like that because you cool with your friends. They let you say that. You can't come around every black person.
6ix9ine used that word, didn't he?
Say what?
Did 6ix9ine use that word? 6ix9ine used that word, didn't he?
Yeah.
6ix9ine?
Yeah. I'm sure.
And look who he was rolling with.
Yeah, but the dudes that he was rolling with gave him the green light. They gave him the
pass. They did.
That's
so.
Fuck 6ix9ine. You can't go around everybody saying that, bro. That's what I'm trying to say. That's all I'm saying. What works with you around your friends?
Unless it's in the bedroom.
Hey, boy, your thing sound like a robot.
You see what I'm saying? Like facts. It's not gonna work with everybody else. I could call, and I would never do this, but I know Mexicans, right? I could call, hey, what up, my wetback? I would never do that though. It's a level of respect.
Me neither.
Not just them, but just all Mexicans. But I know Mexicans that wouldn't get offended by saying that. But I know for a fact that, like I said, they wouldn't get offended. But I can't go around every Mexican and they would not get offended. I get my ass handed to me. I'm pretty sure. So, like I said,
not even because of that. I just wouldn't use it. I just don't use it. There's no reason for me to use it. If I was a Caucasian dude right now, there's no reason for me to use that word, even as a rapper. Eminem proved it. Eminem never used that word. So, Machine Gun Kelly never used that word. Yellow Wolf is a white rapper also. He never used that word. So that's 3 mega Caucasian stars that never used that. If I was Caucasian, there is no need for me to use that N-word at all. I want to be able to show that I was able to dominate that.
The examples that y'all using, though, y'all got to understand, haven't been socially accepted. It's never been. You don't even hear.
Eminem was socially accepted. Eminem was accepted for sure.
You don't hear Mexicans calling each other wetback.
Because they haven't popularized it.
You don't hear white people.
They haven't popularized it. They haven't popularized it.
Where do these words come from?
They haven't popularized it.
You don't hear no other races.
They haven't popularized it. They haven't popularized
people though. So you can't use.
They haven't popularized it.
Man, this shit is been popularized.
Yo, I get.
I ain't never heard no rapper. I've never heard a rapper put wetback in his raps.
That's what I'm saying. But that's.
I ain't never heard no. I ain't never heard no.
That's what.
I ain't never heard no. I never heard no Jew rapper.
We took something and we made it popular. It's never been popular for somebody to use.
They don't want to use the Mexican offensive words. They don't want it because it's not popular. But I guarantee you, if a Mexican rapper come along,
names, like where does that name come from? Like, there's a reason why, and they call them that.
Well, we know why they call us that.
No, but I'm
We know
asking,
why.
like, where do these words come from? Like,
Back in this,
both of
back
these
in
words come
back
somewhere.
it all originated back in slavery.
Yeah, but
That was the DNA where ours came from.
You know what I mean?
Hey.
Like, it's
Because
just, I don't know.
it's almost like when you mad at somebody. It's almost like when you mad at somebody, you look at them and say, and tell them something how you honestly feel. And whatever word comes out from us, how you say it. Like, man, your nose is fucking big, ugly. Damn, you got an ugly face. So that's pretty much what the Caucasian man looked at the black man and said, and that's how it came out.
But yo, you know what though?
I'm
I
just
look
like
at it
curious,
like this,
where do
bro.
the words
Like,
come from? Like, they're weird ass words. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't look at it. I don't look at the N word. I don't look at the hardy y'all. I don't look at the N word like this. Like, I don't look at it as meaning ignorant because nobody uses it in that sense. It's always used in a derogatory sense. So the fact that it means ignorant is probably some shit that white people made up that just to soften the cushion. You know what I'm saying? Because when do we ever call each other that? When do anybody ever use that word and mean ignorant? No, never. I've never been called that or heard of anyone else being called that. No other black person being called that by a non-black person or even a black person, and we were just calling somebody ignorant. So I just think that that's a lie.
You talking about the N word? You are talking about the N word, right?
Say what?
Huh? You talking about the N word, right?
Yeah.
I call people that all the time.
Bro, I'm saying, when do we call each other that and mean we're calling somebody ignorant? Never.
Oh no, I'm not calling them ignorant.
White person ever call a black person
it's in the context.
They was ignorant. Nobody's ever
No,
used the N word and meant ignorant ever. Not in the history of the
word. You guys have to understand the underlining of it. You can use a negative word for positive. The minute you match the negative word and positive, right? If you switch those wires, you're gonna get a negative result. But if you use it the way it should be, you're gonna get a powerful result. The negative word can always be used if it's used in its proper context. If it's not used in its proper context, you're gonna get different results, and it's up to you what those results are and how you handle it. Like you said, how you handle it in your heart.
What is the proper context? What's the proper context of using the N word?
In his rap music, in the Mexican dude's rap music, I feel like he's free musically. I feel he shouldn't remove the. Now, he said, "What you gonna do about it?" But he did grow up around. I'm assuming he went through, like the homie said, he went through his little black level in the hood. So he feels like he has ownership of that word. So his only safe place is music. But outside of music, if I meet you in the club or in the store or something, and you say, "What I'm gonna do about it if you use that word," then there's I ain't got nothing to do with no music, bro. Nothing.
I just
so if he hides behind his music, then cool.
Offended by the word, but you can't be like on both sides of the fence.
It's how you use it. Yes, it's how you. So if I call you bitch right now, how you gonna take that?
Go ahead. It doesn't bother me at all. I promise you.
Hey, yo,
but it's disrespectful. But it's disrespectful still because I'm using it in this context. This is professional level. I shouldn't be calling you that.
I feel like you give respect to get respect. There's certain things
I know, but this is a respectful panel.
For me, like, I'm an adult and we gotta be civilized, but some people you can get it any day. And there's certain circumstances where ignorant ass people will like get you out of character like that. You know what I mean? People don't have to like each other, but people should respect each other. You know what I mean? Period.
I know, but saying you're not offended by it is no way out. There's a level of respect that you should require. It doesn't matter.
Hey, yo, whether
I mean that literally. Like, there's no word that offends me because it's like I feel like.
Yo, look, I don't feel like
it would offend you. You know, but if it's not true, then who gives a shit? You know what I mean?
No, it has not. It has no.
As long as you know.
It has nothing to be if it's true or not, because I think in some point in your life you've been a bitch, and at some point in my life I've been NIG.
I I think you gotta be mindful of your verbiage. So there's a difference of being a bitch versus acting like a bitch.
So you just proved
words,
my
like
point.
Hugo would say,
So it's
words
the
do matter,
articulation.
and you just gotta be
So you
mindful
just proved
of
my
how you
point.
communicate that.
Right, you just proved my
But
point. I
that's like
just
me
said it.
saying,
How you
that's like me
articulate
saying,
it.
okay, I'm offended because of the B word.
I
I would only be
said,
offended if it's true.
I said,
And I feel
I
like people
said,
shouldn't be offended by words because I feel like the power we give to words tells more about us than the word itself. These words don't mean shit because it doesn't
you
matter if
should
you're
be,
perfect.
you should be,
If you can
no,
be
you should
perfect
be
and
aware.
people will
You
judge you no
should be
matter what
aware
you
of
do because
words.
that's how humans are.
You should be, what's the first thing you're taught when you're eligible enough as a child, as a born child, right? What's the first thing done
What's
to
the
you?
what?
What's the first thing's done to you when you come out your mother's womb?
What do you mean?
And a baby comes out the womb, the woman's womb,
Yeah.
her bio, her uterus, or her vag.
Mm-hmm.
What's the first thing that's done?
Well, you carry the baby. What the fuck else? And then they cut
No,
the
what's the
umbilical
first
cord.
thing
I'm
that's
not gonna
done
walk
to
you
the
through the story,
child?
but
No, what's the first thing that's done to the child?
the baby gets pulled the fuck out of the vagina.
They get smacked. They get smacked
No,
the
not
fuck
all the
up.
time.
No,
No, that's like a
check
rare
it.
occasion if they're not
Check
fun.
it. Check it. Yo,
That's a rare occasion, dude.
even at that infant stage, that child knows something happened that hurts
What if
them,
it's
that
smack
affects them, that hurt them. Now, some kids are not gonna cry. Some babies and infants are not gonna cry, right? So they're like you. Those particular infants are you. Oh, that doesn't hurt me. That doesn't. But you still got smacked. So just because this other child is crying because they just got smacked, okay, they don't want to get smacked. So that's the same thing with the verbiage. Just because you say I can call you that and you're not offended.
Okay, listen. Because you could be perfect. You could be perfect, and there's always a motherfucker. It could be at work, it could be at the store, it could be anywhere. There's always a motherfucker that will always have some shit to say about somebody, and that's how humans are.
Then
So
depending
you
on what,
can't react.
right?
What
So
are you gonna do? React to every
if
time
I'm at
somebody
work,
says
no.
something to you?
If I'm at work, no. If I'm at
Hey,
work, no.
can I ask a question? Hey, can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? Okay, so real quick, just to jump back on topic, real quick, it says who is allowed to use the N-word, and we was using OT, this Mexican cat, as an example because this was the topic of discussion currently in
Context.
Texas.
The context to use it.
So listen. What I'm asking everybody is this: who's allowed to use the N-word? Is it okay for Mexicans in the hood to use it in the same context with the same affliction as, let's say, a white person in the suburbs? Like, who's allowed to use it? As long as it's not with the hard ER, is it still offensive? Let me hear what your thoughts are.
I don't
I
think
don't
it
think
is.
it is, but I have a different understanding of where we come from.
Say what?
I have a different understanding of where we all come from and like original, like the true history, not the stolen ass one from the white people, the true history.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a whole different view. I don't even want to get into that, but I have a completely different view, and I feel like we're all equal. I feel like we come from the same source. And I
No,
feel
we're
like
not.
the vast
No.
So that
majority
means
of people don't know where the
so do
fuck
you
they
think
came from, and
everybody
they don't
should
know
be
the
allowed
truth.
to use
So
the
that's why
N-word?
they are offended. But
No,
if
Okay.
if people knew the truth, no, on some real shit, without going completely left, if everybody knew the truth, y'all would be probably pissed the fuck off. And that's
Okay.
why I don't use
I
the
wouldn't be.
Okay, wait.
I would.
Okay, so knowing the truth, so
But I
everybody
think I
should be
understand the
allowed to use
history,
the
and
N-word.
I can see why people would get
No.
offended by it.
No.
So
If
is Steph,
I feel the reason why I say no is because if you don't have the understanding of when and how you should use it, you need to keep that word out your vocabulary.
so who's allowed to use it?
Us. We're
Hold on.
allowed.
Anybody else
We're
besides
But if
black
you're
allowed.
people?
offended by it,
Oh,
why would
I'm
you use
using
it?
it.
Make it make sense.
I just said it depends on when how I use it. I'm using it. If I see my homie I ain't
But you
stolen
can't
years,
say,
I'm
okay,
using
I'm
it.
offended here, I'm offended sometimes, and I'm not
No, I'm offended
sometimes.
outside of that. Outside, I'm never offended that person call me that ever.
But you can't see that's why I got a problem with it. Like you can't pick and choose when it's okay for.
No, I have a right to because I own it. I have a right to because I own it.
Hold on. That's the most
I own it.
shit I've ever heard in my life. Though,
I didn't.
like on some real life shit. You can't say only if this person says that I'm okay with it. This person don't, that I'm not.
You
That's
can't either you're with
if
this
it's
shit
offensive,
or you're
it should be offensive. Like it's you can't pick and choose when something. You can't say the bee stung me today and don't hurt, but tomorrow if I get stung, the bee might hurt. That's you know what I mean. You can't if it's offensive all the time. Like you can't pick and choose. You can't pick and choose when. And so that's what led me to say what I said earlier. If that's the case, you should be more offended when black people are using it towards other black people. If the only context that you see it,
he going off. He going off.
Is crazy.
We didn't say
I ain't mean to cut you off, 80. I ain't mean to cut you off.
We didn't.
Hey, you flashing? You here?
We didn't. When Lululemon, when the creator of Lululemon said I prefer black people or certain race of people don't wear my clothes. When Tommy Hilfiger said that, they can't say that. They can't say that because they sell it. They sold those clothes. We didn't sell that N-word, so we control it.
It's
Tommy Hilfiger didn't use that.
Where's my check? Where's my check then? If we sold it, where's my money? You need a check.
It don't work like that, man. We put something in the atmosphere and it blossomed to a whole nother height. And at the end of the day,
that's the operative word.
If you get offended if somebody of another race uses it, and you're not offended when your own people use it.
I control because I control that allowance. I control that offense.
Backwards though. But it's ass.
Yeah, how is it?
Backwards though.
How is it?
Either it's offensive all the time or it's not offensive any time.
No, because it depends on how it's used. It goes back to how it's used.
We ain't talking about.
Both of them have a point.
Let me be 100% clear. Let me be 100% clear. There is no way to use the hard ER any other way besides
musically.
So we're not talking
musically.
About that. That's not where.
It's Eminem.
That's the obvious.
Used it musically.
The hard ER from anybody. It was used in the direction to deteriorate you. Like it was used in the negative form. Period. Point blank. That's not what we're talking about. The topic ain't even got nothing to do with the hard ER, if you ask me, because that's non-negotiable. That's non-negotiable. If anybody of another race calls you the hard ER, nigga, it was meant to hurt your feelings. It was meant to get you riled up. It was meant to.
You said the hard ER.
So we're not talking about that. That's non-negotiable. We talking about the GGA. If you get called, if you get called a nigga from anybody else that's outside of the race. Is it offensive? The ER is offensive regardless. I don't give a fuck who uses it. If I'm black and I call you the hard ER, you should be offended.
No,
you know what I mean?
we own both.
It's like when you drive your
nobody can tell me. Nobody can tell me when I should. Nobody can tell me when. Nobody has the ability to tell a black person when he should or shouldn't get offended by that word at all.
I don't think you should get offended by it.
That's my.
The reason I don't think that it's offensive. The reason I don't think it's offensive because we know when it's being used to be offensive. So like you can't.
But you can't be cool with it.
You can't pick and choose. You can't pick and choose
when you're offended by something. As ownership, I can. Ownership, I can.
You don't own the fucking word.
That's how I claim it.
Fuck that word.
You can't pick and choose when you.
That's how I claim it.
Shit, that's all I'm saying. If
as ownership, I can.
All the time. That's all I'm saying.
I literally feel like fuck the people that created the word, and I feel like just because they created the word, they want to label people
because some days
word doesn't mean it's applicable. Fuck them.
Some days my sister, some days my sister wakes up act like a hoe, and some days she's not a hoe.
but either day, if you call her a hoe, she's gonna be offended. Am I right or wrong? But right or wrong though.
My point proved. My point's proved. Hey, this is the mic.
Am I lying though? If you call her a hoe on either day, she's gonna be offended on both days.
But you said you said you can't be offended and like it at the same time. You got to pick one.
But
that's what you said.
That's what I'm saying. You contradicting yourself because you can't one day.
I know, but some days, some days you could be guilty of that. Some days you could be guilty of that. I used to steal. I don't steal no more. I used to rob. I don't rob no more. Now I'm not offended when people say these thieves, these stealers. That's not part of me now. See what I'm saying?
You see how you said, hold on, you just said it. You just said that. You used to get offended when you used to steal. You see what I'm saying? So that's what
because if I go back to stealing, now I'm gonna get offended. See what I'm saying?
What are you gonna get offended by?
Some days you are a negative person.
By somebody calling you a thief?
No, depending on how it's used, it's going to affect you. It's going to affect you.
All right, so what if I called you, instead of calling a thief, I called you maybe say a klepto. Maybe I said he didn't steal it, he slept it.
If I'm known in the hood, if I'm known in the hood as a weird ass individual, right? And every time I come around, everybody's whispering saying, "Oh, here come that weird ass dude." Right? So let's say I'm not weird no more. I'm a cool dude now. If I come around everybody, y'all still brand me as that, then I'm gonna get offended at that.
Legit.
So that's all I'm saying.
You gonna be man? Y'all crazy, man.
Y'all know I'm right. I got you thinking.
At the end of the day, you just can't pick and choose when you're gonna be offended by the shit.
With that word, you can.
That word or the C word.
Hey, Benz. Real quick, I want to hear your opinion, fam. Like, who is allowed to use the N word? Is any one race allowed? Is Mexicans? Because like we from the turf, right? When I say turf, I mean I'm talking about the people that you normally see in the hood. I only had maybe one, maybe two white dudes in the hood back home in the Bronx. No white people in Brooklyn except for my baby moms, and she wasn't saying that shit, right? But typically Hispanics who, you know what I'm saying, whether it's Mexicans, in my case, it'd be Puerto Ricans. We didn't really have too many Mexicans in New York. Dominicans, like I said, they didn't even speak fucking English. Is it okay for one race or any one group of people or demographic to use the N-word more than the other, whether or not they come from the turf, or like, what's your thoughts on it?
I don't like to hear other races use the word. I don't like it. Don't bother me. Like it make me upset or something.
Right.
But I don't like to hear it. Like in Northern California, I used to hear Filipinos a lot say it to each other though. What's up, my nigga?
To each other though.
I don't. It sound dumb to me.
That's
you know
crazy.
what I'm saying?
But but the key word that you just used was to each other though. That's what I'm telling you. They didn't take
it sound dumb, but then
they didn't took the shit and ran with it like it was like it was.
Then I wouldn't want.
Like it's
but
there.
then, like, let's say it's a white boy. I wouldn't want a white boy coming up to me talking about what's up with my nigga though. I don't want to hear that. That shit sound weird too.
I agree with you on that.
And so that's what I'm saying when I'm speaking on what I'm saying. Like I didn't heard them use it more talking to each other than they ever even thought about you, because in their mind, this is so acceptable that this is my nigga. This is when they talk about their own people. That's their nigga.
Like you be seeing like y'all see sometime on them on YouTube, they be having like them hood blogs. Yeah. They be having like Mexican boys walking around the neighborhood showing stuff, and you hear them a lot saying like, "Yeah, my nigga over here, we be over here."
Yeah.
Because that's where they.
But then it sounds. But on the other end, not even just on a negative, the word being negative, it even sound weird if I was to hear a black person saying the word the homies. To me, that's what the Mexicans say. Me and the homies be over here. Me and the homies. This shit sound weird. I don't really hear black people say that, so it would sound weird if I heard a black guy say that. I'll be like, where are you from? It's weird to me. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
I know what I'm gonna do is
I don't want to
since
fight
nobody
nobody because somebody said the word nigga, but it sounds weird to me when I hear other races of people say this shit.
well when we're done with
That's
this.
a good point because I've heard white people say that shit to each other, and that's weird as fuck.
But,
Yeah,
but the
Weird as
question
fuck.
is though, hold on, Benz. The question is though, are you offended by it though? You taking too long to answer. You're not offended.
Man, because I was thinking about I was thinking about what you said earlier at the beginning when you talking about when you walked into the store and you heard the white boy say what he said, because that would catch me off guard too. Like,
You know what I'm saying?
You
No,
see,
but if
so
I was
let
in
me
a
ask
bar,
you.
let's say I was in a bar and I was
Real
talking to a
shit.
friend, would you guys be offended if I used that word?
like, okay, I don't. It's hard, man. Now I get what.
So I'm gonna bring clarity to it. I'm gonna bring.
That's what I said. They both have points.
Like Stephanie said she used the word. But if me and Stephanie was out in the public somewhere and I heard her and she's sitting next to me saying that, I'm probably gonna say something to her, like, shut the fuck up, man. Stop saying that word.
So let me paraphrase it like this. If we're in the club, right? And you see, if we're in the club and you see this Caucasian dude fighting with this black dude, right? And he and his other Caucasian friend walk up and they both start attacking this black dude and they're running off that word at the mouth, the N word.
No,
Are you gonna get offended? Are you gonna get offended?
And I use
No, listen to this. Hey,
are you gonna get offended?
No. It ain't even about offended. Hey, check this out, Larry.
Yo.
What if you went to Mariposa? For y'all that don't know, so America is like a predominant black kind of I don't want to call it a club. It's a restaurant. They got a DJ, but people just tend to stand up, start dancing. But it's not a club. So let's say you walked in there, Larry. You know what the setting is in there, and you walked in with Stephanie, and y'all walked to go sit down at the table with everybody. And Stephanie was like, "Hey, what's up, my niggas?" Like, of course you're not offended by the word, but goddamn, we don't say that shit right.
No, look.
You got all the black women right at the table.
Yo.
What if you took it to the Rolling 03 event in Houston at the Y? And she talking,
that shit ain't gonna fly. That shit ain't gonna fly. Yo, unless you ready to cut, stab, or shoot your way up.
So I win. Because it's how you use it in the context you're using it.
No,
because if I go through context,
she's saying it in a greeting way, but sometimes it can be about the setting, not even.
That's what he said, because yo, if we at Steph crib and she like, yo, glad to have y'all niggas over, or thank y'all niggas for coming through, I ain't gonna be like, thank y'all who? I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna be like, thanks for having me.
No, I'm gonna say who?
Like, thanks for having me. You know?
No, I'm gonna say who.
But like Ben said, if we go out, bro, we was in Mariposa, I'm like, yo, chill the fuck out with that shit, man. Like, don't get high niggas up there.
See, the reason why your take on it is the reason why
but you can't do that shit around everybody, bro.
No, the reason why you're not gonna question her about it because you know her.
No,
I don't know her like that. I'm looking back. I'm looking back like I'm looking back. I'm gonna respect her as a female, but when I walk out, I'm gonna look at Benz and say, "Yo, why she using that? Why she saying that like that?"
No, Larry said he gonna check it from the situation, telling her to chill the fuck out if she was to say it right then and there.
Bro.
Oh, okay.
Jammed up in the wrong environment. She gonna get us jammed up. She gonna get us jammed up in the wrong environment, my nigga.
Yeah, you gonna get her jammed up in the wrong environment.
That's what I'm saying. She gonna her using that word in the wrong environment is gonna get us jammed the fuck up. That's the point.
Right. So it goes back to my point when I said sometimes I'm offended, depending on how, and sometimes I'm not, depending on how it's used and when it's used.
It ain't
See, look, I'm not offended. I'm not offended.
No, yes, you can.
No. Reflection. Listen. I'm not offended by her use of the word. It's where she used it that I need to be like, yo, let's
like, you can use it down a bit. Here.
I'm not.
No, but your take is different from mine. You know her more than me. You know her more than I do, so your offensive take is different.
Y'all know each other.
I know. I met her. I met her.
Nobody on here met her.
Not in
Okay, so that makes it even worse. It's even worse.
Nigga, Benz is stupid,
That
man.
makes it even worse.
Hey, look.
Yo, look. Like I
What
said,
you talking about?
if-
I've
if-
never.
if-
Like, she seemed like a sweet, beautiful person, but I've never met you. If you use that word, I'm not going to touch you at all. But I guarantee you, I'm gonna make a verbal ruckus about it and say, why is she? If I don't ask you that, if I'm in your home or whatever, I'm not gonna say nothing in your home. But I'm gonna whisper to whoever knows you more than me and say, why is she using it? I'm going to say that.
Ill, bro.
Or I'm gonna say, does she have a black man? Is she with a black guy or something? I'm gonna try to investigate and figure it out.
Hey,
So
what difference would it have made? What difference do it make whether her man black or
Who
not?
gives a shit if she's with a black dude or
Because now it allow me to wrestle with giving her a pass. It'll make me wrestle with giving her a pass.
Hey, does that
It'll wrestle with giving her a pass. It's like when white women get their hair cut like black women. You kind of give them a pass.
If her dude is
What?
black, if her dude is black,
White women get their hair cut like black women. You remember they get their hair cut in a bob? That bullshit look.
If her dude is black, and her kids is mixed, do that give her a pass?
Okay, so he just muted me.
No, I'm asking the question.
Okay, what did you say again?
If her dude is black, and her kids is mixed, and she say and she used it and she say what's up to my nigga or whatever's going on, is it still offensive?
Yes, but it will allow me to ease up on the aggression I take with it. Because there's some understanding. Because there's some understanding. Because now there's some clarity to it. No, I just answered it. Now there's some clarity to it. There's some clarity to it. Yo, you just said wherever nigga Stripes is from, he has an allowance. You just justified it, right?
No.
You justified it.
But that's my take on it. That's not your take on it.
Okay, so I just gave you my take on this. So I just said if her husband is black or her man is black, it will give me some adjustment with my aggression on it.
Because you probably
I'll have some clarity. It'll bring clarity. Oh, that's why she's using it. Okay, so I won't make too much of a big deal.
And that's probably regular conversation they have with each other.
And that's what I'm saying.
But if her husband is white or her boyfriend was white and she talking like that, it's gonna sound out of place and weird.
Oh, it's straight. Yeah, it's straight. It's action.
No,
Crazy.
shit, man.
That's crazy because I know that's like me having a white homegirl, right? And her boyfriend is white, and they more hood than some of the black people I know. And if that's how she talks, she like, yo, my nigga, like, yo, roll out blood.
Not at all.
Blood.
But hell no.
But look.
Hell no.
Hold on.
You can spell that on down the road. That ain't.
Hold on, son.
Oh.
Like my man 80 said, they valid in the hood. They stamped.
No, you're not. No. I don't know no all white person. I don't know no all white person that's valid in the hood. I don't know no all white Caucasian that's valid in the hood. Not one. No, let me see him. No,
I do. Yo, bro, look.
Ain't no way.
If you ain't never met an all authentic white person, that's I don't know what you need to get out. You need to get out more, bro.
That's what I said.
Nope.
You need to get out more, bro.
Nope. No,
Yes.
I got stories. I told you about the one that introduced me. I told you about the ones that gave me the guns and all that type of stuff. Valid as fuck. He never used that word ever.
Yo, we
not used it.
We talking about the ones that do use.
Yeah, that was street business. That was street action. I came to him and said, hey, I need that thing. This is me straight leaving my dad's crib. My dad was a preacher. I came out into the world. I was a virgin to the world. I didn't have nothing to my name. I'm trying to learn how a thing go, everything. This was that lifestyle. And one of the people I met, not just this white guy, but some black niggas too, but this white guy was the first one that took me and said, okay, this is that business. This is how you handle that business on doing this. You said you got issues. Yeah, I got some some problems. Okay, cool. Meet me at such and such and such. That was my introduction to him. And he never used that word.
Hey, but look, like I said in the beginning, bro, it's to each their own, because that might not fly with you, but I got white dudes in the hood that's official, and I don't mind if they use the N-word. I got Puerto Ricans.
Well, you can control
and I
that.
don't mind if they use the N-word. I don't care if you white, black, like.
But would you control it out though? If you were bringing them around,
listen.
If you were bringing them around us or whatever, would they already know the guidelines with that or no?
We're gonna get to that in a sec. Hold that thought. Like 80 said, if I'm gonna get mad at a white person or a Hispanic person or an Asian person, I might as well get mad at the black person too. That's the whole point.
I'm gonna talk to the black person like he's my brother. I'm gonna talk to him and say, hey, bro, you need to check him.
I'm gonna give you an example. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example though. I was having this just happened like a month ago. No bullshit. I was having a conversation with some colleagues, and a couple of brothers walked up. We was having a conversation with some colleagues, and we had two of our white colleagues there, and it was maybe one Hispanic and like three brothers, me included. And we was having a conversation, and one of the homies was like, "Yeah, my nigga whoop de whoop whoop, nigga whoop de whoop." He's saying this in front of the white, So I had to look at the nigga like you feel me? I had to look at bro like, nigga, you still standing here like you just forgot all about nigga. We around, you know what I mean? Our peers, our colleagues, it's different. So from that perspective, nigga, I was offended. I'm gonna keep it real, like nigga, you don't know the code, nigga. We don't talk like that in front of them. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? So that was to me, that was embarrassing because they're looking at it like we're co-workers, we're colleagues, we're yada yada yada, and they looking like, hey, is everything okay? Like, you know what I mean? Like he called him a nigga, you know what I mean? Like and you know how we got to be in business because we be in some rooms that is so far disconnected from the streets. You would if you didn't have video of us in there, you wouldn't even know it was us talking. We didn't have to sit in them rooms before. You know what I mean? Where it's some decision makers in that room. So we know how to turn on that business conversation and that business dialect, that business dialogue that we got to use in order to move into corporate America. So when we around corporate America and I had the niggas talking the way they was talking, I had to double take like, nigga, you don't see where we at? Like I was damn near offended. I'm gonna keep it real with you.
Yo, let me tell you something real quick. I offended myself by doing that shit. And I said that shit to a black person. I said, I love you, my nigga.
That's what I'm saying.
But the person that I said it to wasn't that kind of black person.
Yeah.
They wasn't a nigga, they was a black person.
So so check it.
I was like, oh shit. After I said it, I was like, damn, like why you said that? Like
you see, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
So check this. So let me.
Bro, I thought
okay,
about
so
that the next 2 days, bro. You know what I'm saying? So
it was some shame in that.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask Benz. Benz, this question is for you, Freddie. This question is for you. You familiar with HR, right?
Yeah.
So if your coworkers heard you use
nigga familiar with HR.
Prove my point. If your coworkers heard you use that word to another black coworker, do you think they report you to human resources?
No, because they heard me say it before. When I get mad at work, this nigga over here playing
right. Now, if a white coworker used that word, yeah. See, if a white coworker used that word, would the turnout be the same with HR?
No, it won't be the same.
Exactly. So it goes back to what I said. It depends on how it's used and the context that it's being used and who's using it.
Like if I say at work, like if I'm on the clock, I gotta get this work done. I say, "Damn, these niggas taking hella long." And then the white person say, "Damn, this nigga strict."
Human resources is on his ass. HR is on his ass.
Yeah.
So my point is always been proven. Yo, I come with the antics, but I bring the truth at the end of the day. I'm the guy on the boat that catches the biggest fish, even though I'm struggling. But once I reel it in, it's over. I done caught it. I done baited it in. And now I'm gonna ask.
Do you believe do you believe in leaders?
Y'all niggas is ill, man.
For real. For real.
Hey, I'm gonna get a shirt made up. I'm gonna get a shirt that says "I'm a leader." I'm gonna get a shirt.
Crazy, son.
In the front and back, it's gonna say "I am a leader."
Oh man.
Hey.
Oh my God, I can't do it.
We're gonna wrap this up. Wait as hell, man. It's
Y'all
it's
crazy.
It's after 1 o'clock out here. Shoot.
God damn.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
shit.
yeah, man. Hey, y'all. I appreciate y'all coming on tonight, man. Nigga have fun. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
But yeah, man. Yeah, man, we're gonna have to do it again, man. I might be free tomorrow if everybody available. I'm busy on Thursday and flying back Friday. So you let me know what everybody's schedule is, man. We can get another one in.
Oh yeah.
Word up.
Tap in.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate all
Have a
y'all
great
standing
night.
on it too, standing on y'all views. We
Y'all
had
just-
all different kind of angles it takes, man. That's what I like, man. So
Hey, that was a good topic. That was a good topic too. Hey, we need to start helping Ben with.
West, man.
Yeah. Hey, we all got to start helping you with some topics too.
Nah, Eddie West, he came up with that topic, man.
Oh, okay. That's what's up.
He came up with that and that last one. Shit.
That's what's up, then.
About the leader one. So yeah, that's all, Eddie.
Hey.
It's crazy.
But yeah. But shit, man. I'll see y'all again, man, on the next one.
Thank you for having us
All right.
on.
Well, for
For
sure,
sure.
man. Appreciate you.
All right, y'all.
Peace.